Alright, so I feel like Yuno is someone that many people like as a character, but as for his SSR seasonal unit, if we just check this out, I asked a poll, worst seasonal unit, and about like what, that's like 550 people out of the 1,100, 50% out of everyone said Yuno was the worst seasonal unit. Now, I think there's a good reason for this. It's because of the other current debuffers. Now, first of all, we already have a green debuffer in Rill. I have no idea where he is. Okay, so Rill is another green debuffer, and they have the exact same ultimate, except for Rill's does something better. Now, especially for PvP, Rill and also Lotus, the two other debuffers, are straight up better. Now, there is something that we have to note. I think that is more prevalent in Yuno out of the three debuffers, but they are all kind of getting a small buff. Now, let me explain why Yuno I'd say is the worst. First of all, on his ultimate, he gets that concentrated attack, which is a guaranteed crit, but the other two debuffers have a way of stopping enemies' actions or slowing them. Rill could get stuns on the whole team, and Lotus is able to slow down the enemies. While all three of these debuffers have the incapacitate, Lotus could slow by 55%, which is going to put their actions back by a lot, and you could also remove buffs. And those are two really good things for a debuffer, while Rill could stun, which means he's able to kind of like push them back a whole turn, which could honestly just ruin teams sometimes, right? Yuno has no way of getting this type of mechanic. He only has incapacitate, which they all have level 3. It's all 50%, but that's it. Now his skill 1 does have the stamina lower guaranteed, which is nice, but there's no AoE version of that. He's just there to make you do more damage. That's literally his whole purpose, and he could lower attack. Now, the reason why he won't be as good for PvP is because of no way of stopping the actions, right? Or slowing. There is something, I'm sorry for the equipment, it's just I put it all on Lotus, right? Now, there is something in the game that when they added this crafting set, over here, I think it's the bottom one, when they added this crafting set that I talked about in my raid video, if you want to go check that out, they also added other gear sets, and these gear sets will be amazing for, first of all, for just debuffers in general, but especially Yuno. Why is that? Well, let's look at them. You've got here all of our normal gear sets, right? We got attack, defense, HP, speed, crit, accuracy, crit defense, penetration, lifesteal, and then we've got 4 new ones. We've got a stun gear set, seemingly a heal gear set, looking at the plus sign compared to the hearts. We've got a speed lower, and we've got the like tanking gear set that we could craft. Now, currently the speed, the stun, speed lower, and HP heal one are not in the game, but clearly by what they are showing us in the marks, we know what they're doing, right? And these will benefit out of the three, Yuno and Lotus the most. Because Rill has his stun, right? So he has his stun. Doesn't really help him that much for the stun. He could speed lower, which would be great. But at the same time, if you're not going to be able to stun, it won't really matter too much if you get the speed lower for him. Because I'm going to guess the speed lower won't be anything crazy. Now, for Yuno, what will be great is getting this. Because you will want to get some type of debuff to lower or stop their actions as much. If we get this, if we put both stun and speed lower on him, he will be so much better. Just that little bit is what he needs, because of course he has AoE attacks. He has 2, and they're both very good. And if he's able to also stun slash speed lower them at the same time, it will greatly benefit him and give him much more usability. And same for Lotus. He already has speed lower, incapacitate. If you put that stun, he has everything. For Rill, I think Rill in general just, there's something about him I just don't like. I mean, it could help him, but I feel like Lotus having the skill 1 stamina lower is just insane. And Yuno already has a really good kit. And if you add the speed lower on top of what he already is doing on his ultimate, he will be amazing. And then on his skill 2, he will also be amazing. So we just have to imagine that this will be probably very toxic, especially if they're allowing everyone to stun. But it will also greatly benefit Yuno in the future. Now, the only problem with this is we don't know where we're going to be getting them. It could be crafted, and I genuinely despise the crafting in this game, because first off, it costs 500,000 gold, and if you want to choose the piece, you have to use crystals, and also you could get URs and not LRs. And then you have to also get substats, so it's even worse. It's adding it's just, they're adding so much gotcha systems to the gear set that I just don't like it. But I could also see them, because let's just go back to the raid real quick. Currently, if we go to the raid, we could see, I think it's this button, there's 3 different raids, or like they're gonna basically change a bit, something like that. I could see them changing the shop, or just adding new gears every week. So like next week we might get the stun set, then the week after we might get the speed lower set. And depending on how good they are, I think it would benefit Yuno the most, and it will make him a lot more usable because getting that guaranteed crit honestly is huge. And his kit is just really good in general because you also have the attack lower and guaranteed one person gets the stamina down if you really need, which could honestly snipe a lot of like units that you might not want to attack because getting stamina lower, remember, stamina over speed. Stamina goes before speed. If you have the same stamina, it then relies on speed, right? But if someone has like the exact same stamina, then you lower their stamina. Of course, you're going to be going first, so it's really good. I think Yuno's base kit is good. It's just that his ultimate, to be able to compare to Lotus, needs to get that little extra thing. And if it's where, like, I don't know, maybe you get 10% speed lower, something like that when you do when you hit someone, it would be enough, right? I would definitely say it's enough to kind of give him that little edge, in my opinion. So like, I think it's really going to be a case between Real and Lotus. Sorry, not Real and Lotus, Yuno and Lotus, and it's kind of putting less value on Real because now everyone's going to be able to do those AoE stuns as a debuffer and not just Real, if that makes sense. Now, it's going to depend on how good these sets are, but I just kind of wanted to put this video out there and kind of say that if you did get Yuno, I think his value is going to go up with these new gear sets and just debuffers in general, right? I think that the only good debuffers at the moment, if we go by, where is it? I think this is, yeah, this is how it would work. The only good debuffers at the moment is really Lotus, in my eyes, Lotus and Rill, but Rill is very situational. So I'd say mainly Lotus is like top tier, then it's Rill, then it's Yuno at the moment. Lotus is, sorry, not, what's his name? Nozel is like bottom tier, and Charlotte's like, okay, I think she could work out very well, but she's just kind of a worse version of Yuno in my eyes. Like, that's how I see it. But the thing is about Yuno also, what makes him even better than others is that his speed is higher than pretty much everyone's as a debuffer, and just he has higher speed than debuffers, attackers, most tanks also. The only people that have higher speed is most supports. So William has higher, Finro has higher, Valtos has higher, and Ghost has lower, it seems, but I think if you max him out, it might be higher. So like, these people have an edge over him. But as a debuffer goes, if you give him that stun, he's going to be going from before Broadus 100%. So he's going to be able to get that guaranteed, or he's going to have a better chance at stunning people than, let's say, Real or Lotus with that gear set also. So I just wanted to make a quick video saying that watch out, and Yuno isn't completely useless, and I think that his speed definitely helps him a lot in the future if we do end up giving him if we do end up getting it very soon, the speed set and the stun set. So we're going to have to see how this works out. But it does seem like a buff is coming for them. We cannot get these gear sets at the moment, but soon we might be able in crafting, etc. Maybe they're going to make a new gear stage because that is 3 gear sets. So maybe we're going to get a mono gear stage, right? Or like they're going to add new stages, and each stage is going to get one of those 3 gear sets, right? Because there's the tank one, which is able to craft, and then there's 3 other gear sets. So either they can make another stage, like a mono stage, or they could add 1 to each. I think there's many ways they could go about it. They could all be added to crafting at one point. We'll have to see. But Yuno will be very good because his speed is just higher than the rest of the debuffers and pretty much more than 70% of the game. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.